If you've ever been to a Middle Eastern restaurant, you've probably had kebabs, or in other restaurants too. But there's one version which is made with ground meat, and it's called Kefta Kebabs, or Kefta Kebabs. You'll see it spelled different ways. That's what we're gonna be making tomorrow. We're gonna be getting the meat ready today and a little bit of a sauce for this, because the meat really does well if the flavors sort of all come together over several hours in the refrigerator. We're gonna leave it in overnight. So what I'm starting with here is 3 pounds of ground beef. This is an 85-15. 80-20 actually would work a little bit better. It's a little fattier, kind of helps bind together a little more, but 85-15 will work. To this, I'm gonna add a medium red onion that's been grated, so really just sort of grated down fine. And one thing about this, when you grate it, you're gonna generate a lot of juice. I put it in a strainer and just let that juice sort of drain off for about 10 minutes so there's not an excess amount of liquid. Next up, a cup of parsley that's been chopped up pretty well. Cup of cilantro that's been chopped up really well. A tablespoon of kosher salt. 2 teaspoons of a coarsely ground black pepper. 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder. 2 teaspoons of ground cumin. 1.5 tablespoons of smoked paprika. And 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. So as you can see, there's a lot of flavors to incorporate here, so we're just gonna get in and mix these all together. I like to do the washing machine motion here to sort of reach in, twist. And if you feel like it's not gonna bind together, add an egg. That's looking pretty good. Now I'm gonna put a lid on this bowl and I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator. It's gonna stay in there overnight. And tomorrow when we actually form these kebabs, we take the meat, wrap it around skewers. Those are gonna go back in the refrigerator for 30 minutes to an hour to really sort of firm up, helps them hold together when they go on the grill. So I'm gonna get this in the refrigerator and we're gonna move on to making a yogurt sauce. So for our yogurt sauce, we're starting with approximately 2 cups of Greek yogurt. This is an unflavored Greek yogurt, sort of the base for many sauces like this. First up, we're gonna add a 1/4 cup of chopped up cucumber. I've peeled the cucumber and not quite finely diced it, but sort of chopped it small. Next, we're gonna add a teaspoon of fresh mint that I've chopped up. We've got about a teaspoon of lemon zest and about 1.5 teaspoons of lemon juice. I'm gonna add a good pinch of kosher salt and a good pinch of white pepper. Now I'm using white pepper because I don't want that black pepper look in here, the little granules. If you can't get white pepper, black pepper will work fine. All that will happen is you'll see a little bit of those black pepper flakes. So we're gonna get in here and mix this all together. And this is also something that you kind of make to your own liking. What are the flavors you want in this? How thick do you want it? Do you want it thin? Add more lemon juice. I like it kind of thick. Let's get a little taste here, see how we're doing. Ooh, that is nice. And the flavors here are only gonna come together more as it sits overnight in the refrigerator. So this is gonna get covered. It's going in the refrigerator with the ground meat mixture we made. And tomorrow, we will form our skewers and we'll head out to the Weber Kettle and we'll grill up some Kefta Kebabs. So here is our big pile of meat mixture that's been in the refrigerator overnight, all these flavors coming together. And what I wanna do now is I wanna divide this into, 5 or 6 portions. So first thing I wanna do is I just wanna kinda get it all together here, kind of form it into a log. That way we'll be able to kind of eyeball when dividing it. And they don't have to be exact. This is gonna be a rough estimation. So let's go down the middle first, right about here. And then we're gonna divide each of these sides into 3. I think I'm gonna do 6 of these. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. And some may be a little bigger than others. I'm gonna take each of these sort of meatballs, set them aside, and then we can start forming the skewers. Kind of doing a little last minute mixing here too. So what we want to do is take our skewers here Gonna take our meatball and just sort of start working it into the longer shape that it's gonna be on the skewer. Want it to be maybe, I don't know, 8, 9 inches long. Then you can just take this, kind of press your skewer down into it, and now start working to seal that meat around the skewer. And it may seem like it's just gonna fall off of this, but once it gets on the grill and starts firming up, starts cooking, it will hold together, just like that. Let's do another one. Again, take your sort of meatball here, work it out into a longer shape. I said 8 or 9 inches long, maybe 10 inches. It's really up to you. You want them to be roughly the same size so they cook evenly. Just go press your skewer down in. Start working your way around and sealing everything up. And sometimes you'll see these that they're very flat on the skewer, and there's nothing wrong with that. All right, I'm gonna get the rest of these done. They're gonna go in the refrigerator for 30 minutes to an hour to really help firm up on the skewers, and then we'll head out to the grill, get it fired up, and cook up some great kefta kebabs. All right, the Weber kettle is fired up. I've got some charcoal in there with some pieces of hickory. I've got the Mallory firewall giving me a larger direct zone, and the Mallory cast iron grate to cook on. So let's get these kefta kebabs on. We'll let these go for a few minutes, then we'll give them a turn. You got some hotter areas of the fire here you can see. And honestly, if that happens, what you can do is just sort of set those couple aside that are getting a little bit extra well done. So I can just slide these off for a minute. And then as soon as the other side gets going and I need to take those off, I can put these back on. Not every fire cooperates 100% all the time. So you've got to be able to adapt. These are looking good here. And remember, if somehow they fall off a skewer, like this one looks like it's gonna have an issue, don't worry about it. It's still gonna taste great. That's what tongs and spatulas are for, so you can pick up meat that falls off of skewers. Yeah, this one's gonna be an issue right here. Put our well done ones back on this cooler side right now. And really, you cook these to the level of doneness you want. Ground meat, the recommendation is 165 internal. I like mine closer to 155, so you have to make that choice yourself. All right, these have a couple more minutes, then I'm gonna get them off and take them inside, and we're gonna taste with some of our yogurt dipping sauce. All right, so one of our kebabs, the one I'm holding right here, just decided, yeah, no, I'm not sticking with that skewer, I'm taking off. So we had one that completely bailed, the other 5 held on nicely. I've got 2 out here, and I'm gonna cut into one of them so we can have a taste. So let me move this guy aside here, still a little warm. We'll bring this one over and slide our skewer out. Now there's lots of ways you can eat this. You could pick it up just like this and eat it. You could cut it like I'm gonna do. You could put it in pita bread with some other fillings and things like that. Some pickled turnips, really good. Some dipping sauce like this yogurt sauce. You could even take this meat mixture and turn it into hamburger patties. In fact, there's a restaurant I go to all the time, and that's one of the things they offer is a kefta burger. Totally easy way to make this if you're not into skewers. Let's cut in here. I want to get to some of that herby center here. You can smell the herbs coming off of this. Oh man, look at that. I'm gonna taste some first without the yogurt sauce. So let's see. That mixture of the herbs, the spices, It is just that sort of quintessential Middle Eastern flavor profile that you're gonna find in a lot of foods, but it really comes through in kefta kebabs because that meat is ground up and so that flavor gets everywhere. Now let's try a little with some of our yogurt sauce here. Cheers. The yogurt sauce brings such a brightness to this, just that sort of refreshing little pinch of flavor at the end there when you're eating something like this. It's a nice contrast to sort of those warm spices and herbs in the meat. It just works so well. And as you saw out there, sometimes things don't go perfectly. Your fire doesn't always work exactly. Sometimes things fall off of skewers. That's cooking. Not everything works great 100% of the time, but you can recover from it and still end up with fantastic food.